Welcome to my Hanabi over-explaining video, where I'm going to take you guys through a Hanabi video of a game between me and two of the people in our group, 910 Dan and Libster. And Hanabi, of course, if you have never played it before, it's a fantastic cooperative card game where you have to use logic and reasoning to deduce what's in your own hand, because your own hand is not shown to you. And so our group has a whole bunch of conventions, and it gets kind of complicated, but hopefully this video will just show what a normal game is like between us. And then afterwards we'll all hop on a voice channel together, and we'll all let each other know what we were all thinking during the game, and we'll see if any of us made any mistakes, which I'm sure there's usually one or two mistakes every single game. So usually there are definitely mistakes. But anyways, let's start out and look at the starting hands. Libster's going first, so we have to wait for him to make a move, and then it'll be my turn next. Libster's seeing the green 3 on Dan's chop. Probably not the best discard. We kind of like to save 3s, and we have several conventions that let us save 3s fairly easily. I predict that Libster will just clue 1s to Dan if he has nothing else to do, or clue some 1s in my hand. And that's kind of what I'm thinking, I guess. So, and then when it comes to my turn, I want to save this purple 3 probably, but I won't be able to do it. There's nothing I can see in order to save this purple 3. So if Libster clues 1s to Dan, then my best move is just to clue 1s to Libster, which is kind of weak. Normally you want to get the efficiency of like a 2 for 1 or even a 3 for 1. But okay, so this card is either purple. As I play, I right-click the card using hyphenated's browser extension. Allows me to write notes on the cards. So now I can hover over this and see this is either purple 1 or multi 1. So since this is purple 1, if this is purple 1, I have to play it immediately so that Libster can give 2s, and then we can follow up with follow up with 3s or purples. Probably 3s, so that, yeah, purples would be better. So I think I have, alternatively I could clue 1s to Dan, and then he would play blue 1 because he played 1s from right to left. And then Libster might have nothing to do and discard, which would be bad. So we can't lose this purple 3. If this is purple 1, we can't lose the purple 3 because that's a playable card. We never want to lose cards that are reachable. So I'm pretty much forced to play here. And it is purple 1. Okay, so now I predict Dan will clue 2s to Libster, and it will mean play the leftmost 2. And then Libster will probably just play purple 2. If he doesn't, alternatively he could clue 1s to Dan. That would also be fine, because then if he does that, then I can clue purples to Libster. Unless, well, I guess I could have purple 3 here as well. I have to, oh. So yeah, so it's not my responsibility to touch the purple 3. It's really Dan's responsibility to touch the purple 3, because I might have purple 3 here or here. And you kind of want to, not at all costs, but at most costs, you want to avoid duplicating cards in other people's hands. It's kind of one of the cardinal sins of Hanabi as a beginner. It's a very common mistake. And when you kind of get higher level, you realize, oh, this would be sweet if I duplicate this card. And so sometimes you want to do it just anyways. So anyways, Dan, instead of doing the move I thought he would do, 2s, he did reds to me, which is a bluff, because Libster played purple 2 from newest. So I know that this is true red 2 or red 3 because we play with the 3 bluffs convention. The 3 bluffs convention is just any bluff can be a 3 that doesn't look like a true finesse. Okay, so this is a true purple card, so this is either purple 3, purple 4, or purple 5. This is red 2 or red 3. And this can be anything. So if I clue 1s to Dan, you could clue purples to Libster, and that would dupe multi 1 potentially. But I think he'll probably do that. I don't really have a choice here. I might have multi-1 here as well. I guess that's true. And then he would just do 3s. So I think that's about the safest play. See, this turn is really confusing because I might have multi-1, and now Dan, if I don't have multi-1, now Dan might have multi-1. So it's like I have to, like, both of those are kind of equivalent. I'm going to consider them both the same. But if this is purple 3, okay, so now I know that this is not purple 3. So this is either purple 4 or purple 5. And it also tells me that I have multi-1. Well, actually, see, now this is confusing. I don't actually know if I have multi-1 here, because Dan might be afraid that he has multi-1. So this is quite a tricky web of uncertainty. Dan has to play both of these ones before. So I think I just have to get it. I might also have multi-2 here. See, that's really frustrating. If I have multi-2, then we care about the multi-1. And if I have multi-1, then we care about the multi-2. So this is a tough situation here. So if Libster will either give a clue or play. Tells Dan about a 2. Okay. Well, so here, because there's so much uncertainty, someone just has to duplicate a card. So it's going to be me. I'm going to duplicate. And I'm going to do it with blues. And because it's a free save on blue too. So here I'm going to mark that this could be M1 or M2. And so now, before I was talking about the cardinal sin is duplicating cards. But in three-player games specifically, sometimes there's no avoiding it due to the circular duplication. So this is going to look like either blue 1 or multi-1 to Libster. And Dan should play his rightmost 1, because you play 1s from right to left, and that's just a predefined convention that we have. So yeah, so then Dan can play blue 1 and Libster can play this. Oh, excuse me, not blue 1. It's either blue 2 or M1, because Dan has the blue 1. Dan tells Libster about 2-2s. Ah! So that is a... Oh, that might be a fixed clue. So in Hanabi, everything is either a save clue or a play clue, except when a lie or a duplication has occurred. And we call that a fixed clue, or like a boo-boo clue. So this 2 clue didn't really do anything, because unless he's trying to finesse blue 1 from this position. So I think what it, and that's unlikely. The reason why Dan wouldn't be finessing blue 1 from my finesse position here is that he might have blue 1. And in fact, in reality, he does have blue 1. So he might be doing, I guess maybe he could be doing that. And if he is doing that, it's a move called a certain finesse, where I'm supposed to discard my slot 1 as blue 1. But so that's one possibility. But another possibility is that this is a fixed clue, and it's telling Libster that one of these is multi-2 and one of these is blue 2. And when he finds out for sure, he's going to discard, and then that's going to tell me that I have multi-2. So anyways, there's nothing left for me to do now. I have to respect both possibilities, so I can't actually play this blue 1 yet. Well, actually, what does this 2's clue accomplish if it's a fixed clue? It means that it doesn't do anything. It must be a... It could be a tempo clue chop. No. Because he doesn't know he has blue one. Playing slot 1 here would be very risky. I think that's got to be it. But I'm going to play it safe and discard. So now the goal of the early game is to go as long as you can without discarding. And so now I'm going to discard here, and it's going to initiate the mid game is what we classify as. So in early game, you're kind of allowed to do stalling type clues where you can do things like touch 5s that are off chop. But now that we're in the mid game, everything is kind of standard, and we play more or less normally. So Dan played blue 1. So now I think Libster has to play the, okay, he plays the blue 2 or the multi 1. Oh no, he knows it's not 2. So he knew that was a multi 1. So yeah, so he has to play that, and so now he can play the leftmost 2 and then discard this one if it's dupe, which I think it is. So this is either purple 4 or purple 5. So I could dupe a card. Yeah, so this is actually good. We need to save this 3 because Dan is going to discard it soon. So I can dupe purple 4, and which is fine because I know that I have either purple 4 or purple 5. So at some point I'll get like -5 on this card probably if I draw any 5s at all. So here's another situation where duping might be good because I'm kind of saving the green 3 for free. So I think I'm going to do that. Also, my hand is getting kind of full. So this is either a 2 for 1 if I have purple 5, or it's a 1 for 1. And I don't expect, since I am the one initiating the dupe, I don't expect a fixed clue. Or if I want, I can just use a strike. So this clue is definitely debatable whether it's good. It's kind of risky. I'm risking the 2 for 1. Oh shoot, it won't even work. Oh, I made a mistake. I made a mistake because this could be yellow 1, or excuse me, this could be green 1. I didn't see that. Yeah, so this clue is going to introduce a lot of confusion into the group. Dan's going to play that thinking that it's oh, no, we might just lose the we might lose the multi 5 now. Or not, we don't. Oh crap. Okay, I think it'll be okay. Oh my god. So here I'm gonna do greens. See, I might have multi 3. Man, I'm like duplicating every card. So that now the problem is I have to repair this lie. Libster might think that this is blue 3 or multi 3. He probably thinks it's multi 3. So there's actually no way to repair this lie. I kind of screwed myself. If I clue greens, Well, I guess I could do this. I could finesse. This is really bad. So if I clue blues to Dan, Dan will play the purple 4 from the previous turn, which will indicate something has gone wrong. So I guess this is maybe worth trying. I can use blues, yellows. I can use yellows. Or reds. Or purples. I can't use purples because that would hit the purple 4. So I just have to use... I'll use reds because it's least confusing. Because there's no reds on the board. So now I'm not sure what's going to happen. I think Dan will play purple 4 as green 1. And then Libster will be very confused and play the multi-2. Or discard the multi-2 if I have multi-2 here. And then if he plays it, then I would discard my slot 2. So I guess we can, while we wait for Dan to do his... Oh, okay, good. That's what I thought would happen. So now this is getting very confusing. So Libster will rewind to see where... See, this card was on finesse position when I clued the 3. So Libster will be able to use the rewind feature of the game to figure out what happened. That it looks like it was that Zamiel made a mistake and he did what's called a long distance bluff. Zamiel's me, by the way. Sometimes I refer to myself in the third person when I'm looking at a review or looking at it from above the table, you know. So Libster will be able to see that if this is a 3 bluff, then that would cause this 1 to play. But it was the wrong color 1, and so that would cause this. Like, I think Libster will be able to put it together, the pieces, to figure out that I made a mistake. And the reason why we disallow long-distance bluffs like this... Oh, by the way, I should define the term long-distance bluff. Is that by convention, all bluffs must be resolved immediately. And by immediately, we mean either on the very next turn, or if the very next player has no choice, or is it like 0 clues or something, or has like all negative information on his hand, then it can be resolved in like 2 turns, but that's very rare. 95% of the time, all bluffs must be resolved on the very next turn, but we just, to encompass all situations, we say immediately. Okay, so I do have multi-2. So now I can play it. Dan can play his 2. And then hopefully Libster will play the right 3. So we'll see what happens here. This is quite a wild game. But anyways, the reason we outlaw long distance bluffs is because we have a move called a layered finesse. And for layered finesses to work, you have to explicitly disallow long distance bluffing and also reverse bluffing. And I won't get into what a layered finesse is now, unless one actually happens in the game. But so, okay, so at the beginning, let's go rewind to back when I gave this purple's clue, or this blue's clue on turn 43. So I was correct in doing this because we were going to lose the multi-1 otherwise. Dan was afraid, like by cluing 3s instead of purples, Dan was afraid to touch the multi-1. So either Dan or Zamiel had to dupe it, and I duped it with blues. So I also could have duped it with 1s, but then Dan could have multi-2 here as well. So I pretty much had to do blues, and it was correct. And so then we know now for sure that this weird 2s clue from Dan on turn 43, that was indeed a fixed clue. It was an early fixed clue, so to speak, because Libster didn't actually know which one was the duplicated card. So we had to just play leftmost and assume that that one wasn't the duplicated card. So kind of a tricky little sequence of events there. So now Dan plays finally the yellow 2. And now Libster should be able to figure out my mistake. And if so, he'll play this card right here, slot 2. Because that's when that card was on Libster's finesse position, slot 1, when I clued the multi 4. And so this is a very delayed finesse, but it should still work. But it's only contingent upon Libster assuming that I made a mistake. Now we could ask ourselves, what if Zamiel's not making a mistake? Then what's the explanation? Oh wait, let's see what happened. Oh, he did it. Okay, hooray! Okay, oh my gosh, that was very dangerous. Okay, so perfect. So I'm very happy with this turn of events. So what I'm going to do here, so now we're in trouble because we got the, oh no, we're fine, never mind, he has the 3. Okay, we're not in trouble. Okay, so now I can give a reds clue here, or not, I can't give reds because that would hit the 4. So I can give a purple, yellow, or blue. And I think purple would be the best, because purple stack is almost done. So purple is clearest that this is the multi 5. So I'm going to do that. So my goal here to get the green one out is we have to wait for Dan to discard the 3, and then we can clue 1s. And he'll know that the chop one is a good one, either red one or green one, and that the other one may not necessarily be good. Or no, or we can even wait twice for 2 discards and to get the green one. But that's pretty slow. I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah, I guess the safest and most standard play would just be to let Dan discard twice. And that way we can just clue greens or 1s to Dan. And it's very clear that that's the only card we care about. Okay, so I have either red 2 or red 3 here. This is purple 4, purple 5. So I could just use a strike here. But there's no need to do that. I'm just going to discard. I could, alternatively, I could chop move. No, that would be bad. That would be atrocious. So I just have to discard. See, Libster's hand is getting real dangerous. Hopefully he discards his red 4. Or hopefully he doesn't discard the red 4. And he does something else. Kind of, yeah, I wish Libster would be preoccupied with doing things. We can get the green 2 and the green 3 to play. As soon as we get the green 1 from Dan. Now, an alternate play that I could have done here, instead of discarding, I could have actually just clued 1s to Dan. And that's a weird clue. It means that you have green, on the face of it, it means you have green 1 and red 1. But that's very bizarre, because it was in a starting, oh no it wasn't, like he drew it here. And then Libster has to discard, I play, and I do purple. So I probably would have gotten it here. Well, no, maybe not. Yeah, so never mind, I guess, due to the historical state of events. Well, what I was going to say was that if I clue 1s, we've waited so long to get these 2 important 1s. One of them must be bad, or it must be a duplicate, you know? But that's not necessarily true, because we've been super busy the last couple times. And after having gone over the replay of the past 10 or so turns, I see that now. So I know that Dan would also do the same kind of little exercise. Dan would go back in the review and make sure that, were we super busy? And yes, we were. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and play both of these 1s, and then we would get a strike. So Dan is saving, looks like critical 3 save. Well, there's no 3s in the trash, so this is either blue 3 or yellow 3. And that's what's called a chop focus play clue. Normally it would be a save, like he's saving some 3 that's been discarded already. But here, oh shit. Okay, so Libster dupes, forcing me to... So this is actually quite good, because if I play blue 3, then Dan will discard green 1. Dan will just play. And that's fine as well. I have no clues. So it's not actually safe for me to discard, I have to play. So I think Dan will assume that this is blue 3. But now he's going to be really suspicious because, let's rewind. Because on the face of it, this clue means play blue 3 now. But he's had the green 3 in his hand from the very first turn of the game. Look at this. So the green 3 has been here the whole time. So blue 1, blue 2, blue 3. It seems very weird. Okay, let's see. What would Zamiel have done anything differently if this was blue 3? Let's see. I'm going to just click through the game. So after this blues clue, aha, okay. So I give blues here, now the blue 2 is tagged. Libster gives 2s. Yeah, so, right here, right here. So Zamiel discards green 4 on turn 42. So Dan will be able to rewind and see here that I would never do that. What I would do is I would clue blues to Dan as a chop focus play clue on blue 3. So just due to this turn alone, I think he'll be able to derive that something fishy has gone on. And indeed, yeah, he does. Now, fast forwarding to the present, we see that in reality Dan did this, and he knew that this was so fishy. So he discards green 3. And this is actually very interesting because this means that he knows it's not blue 3 through process of a historical elimination. But also, it can't be green 3. If it's green 3, he can discard it and Libster has it. Can't be yellow 3 because yellow 3's already played. Can't be purple 3 and multi 3 because they already played. And so it means he also sees the red 3 because that could be red 3. If it's red 3, then I have red 3. So this is this. Oh no, I have a negative 3 on this clue. Oh, so this is red 2 actually. So this must be the red 3. No? Oh, well, never mind, I guess. This can't be red 3 and this can't be red 3. So I take it back. So, that's interesting. I guess he knew it couldn't be red 3 because we're just not allowed to touch red 3 like this. Because it's not in the trash already, and it's not playable. Unless I have red 1, and he has red 2. But yeah, but it's not in... Wait, was it? It was in Finesse. Oh. If this is... So this can be either... This has to be red 1. This has to be red 1. So Dan, I think, just made a mistake. He could have just discarded red 3. But luckily it was green 3. Okay, so red 1, 2, and then 4 is 1 away. Okay, so I just have to play red 1 here. Now Dan will be forced to discard green 1. He'll elimination note his hand, which I'll do in a moment once he does that. And then Libster will clue greens to Dan, and then Dan will play green 1. Okay, so Dan's taking a while to discard here. Wonder what he's thinking. I'm really surprised. This. Oh no. Okay, so I see. I missed this. Okay, so on turn 28, Dan has negative red on this card, so it could. So Dan didn't make a mistake. It couldn't have been red 3. It must have been green 3 then. It's either green 3 or blue 3, and through historical information, he knew it couldn't have been blue 3. So now this makes more sense. Okay, so now Dan discards green 1. So now I predict Libster will. He could say, if Libster wants to be conservative, he could say 5 to Dan, which chop moves. Okay, he just says 1. See, that's good because this is known trash now and it will delay the discard. So now I can play red 2. And then we lose. If I draw red 3, then Dan can discard the purple 1, which is good. So let's try that. Because if this is red 3, then Dan will need to generate a clue to avoid losing red 4. And if I didn't draw red 3, then he can just play green 1. So what happens when Dan discards this green 1? Right here, what he does is this. He writes green 1 question mark on all 4 cards. And it can't be on slot 1 because that's the one they just drew. And the reason he writes these elimination notes is because we would have never let green 1 be discarded. Okay, so now I can remove these elimination notes since he got the 1's clue and played. Okay, so we lost red 4. So now I have to clue 2s to Libster. And then Dan will discard the 1. Yeah, so now Dan has a known safe discard, which is purple 1. So he's going to discard that one instead of his chop. And that's fairly obvious. So now Libster should play the 2. I will clue 5s to Dan. Dan will discard red 2. And then Libster will play the 3, which is known green 3 because of the sarcastic discard earlier. Then I'll discard, and then Dan can clue 5s to Libster, or 4s even to Libster. See, this is quite tight. So here Dan is forced to discard. Oh, you know what I could have done? I could have done purples. Oh, so now I know I have purple. Okay, so now I can safely discard this. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh, I made a mistake. I could have done something very tricky. Could have done something very tricky. But that's fine. I see that Dan has a known safe. So what I could have done here, instead of 5, so what I could have done is I could have just discarded this. And that is a signal that now Zamiel's note on this card was either purple 4 or purple 5. And they all know that. So when I discard it, it means I see purple 5. And I know that for sure it's a purple 4 and it's safe to discard. So then Dan would have blind played slot 1 and we would have got a clue back. Okay, so now I'm going to play this 3, which is non-red, so it must be blue 3. And then Dan can clue 5s to save the 5s. So that was a bit tricky. Okay, so now we're good to go. We pretty much won the game at this point. So what I can do now is I can bluff. Well, actually, I don't even need to bluff. I can just do blues. Blues to Dan. So the game is pretty much over. We typically in high-level Hanabi, the trickiest part of the game is the early game and the mid game. And if the... I can just discard here. And then if if you're efficient enough with your plays, like finesses and things like that are very efficient, right? It gets you the value of 2 cards for 1 clue, a 2 for 1 as we call it. So if you get a lot of finesses in the mid game and you have a lot of efficiency, then you just have so many clues built up in the bank that you can't lose. Like here, we're pretty much in a winnable spot now. So I know that this is exactly blue 5 because I see green 5, yellow 5, red 5, purple 5. So essentially, Libster here will just discard, or he could even give purples to Dan if he wants. Doesn't really matter. Nothing matters at this point. We just have to wait for the red 3 to appear and then win the game. Oh, Dan, it's very important that Dan doesn't draw the red 4. We might get, yeah, one way we could lose actually is if we're bottom decked by the other red 4. But that's pretty unlikely. There's a 1 in 11 chance, I guess, of that happening. There's the red 3. So this forces Dan to discard because he doesn't know which one is red 5 and which one is purple 5. He might be able to guess that this one is purple 5 because if it was this one, I would have discarded the purple 4 a lot sooner. But there's no need to risk the game on that kind of logical conclusion, because even if he discards here, we're still going to win. So I predict Dan will discard yellow 1. This is a pretty simple decision. I suspect Dan might be going to the bathroom or something. Okay, there we go. He took a long time on that turn. Usually when there's 0 clues left, it's pretty simple, you know. You can't do anything interesting. You're either going to discard or play a card. So you don't have to think about it for that long. So now I think Libster might clue purples to Dan. That would be fine. Or if I just drew the red 4, he might clue reds to Dan, which would be a finesse. Purples to Dan. Okay, so I play blue 5. Dan will play purple 5. And then hopefully one of us, either me or Dan, hopefully we drew red 4 and we can finish the game. If not, it's just going to be a discard fest until we find the red 4. So here Libster might burn by cluing 1s to Dan or something. Ones to me. Okay, so I'm going to clue yellows to, or no, I'll discard. And I suspect Dan will clue yellows to Libster to let him know that he can play the yellow 5. Or alternatively, he could clue greens to Libster, which would be a reverse finesse. Okay. So yellows to Libster. Libster will play the yellow 5. I'll discard the other 1. Okay, there's the red 4. So I can clue reds to Dan, which gets it. Now Dan will discard this multi-card. Libster will play slot 1. There's the green 4. So now it greens to Libster. And that's it. GG. So luckily we weren't bottom decked by the green 4 or the red 4. So yeah, we finished with plenty of time to spare. 3 clues in the bank. 30 points. Yeah, pretty easy 30. Good game, guys.
GG.
Good game.
Libster, do you want to lead the review?
Sure. So I consider both purple to Zam and ones to Dan. I know Zam very likely will just follow up with 2 or maybe 1 to me if I have ones. But there's an outside chance that maybe I have like a yellow 2 and another 2 and it's awkward to get them. I don't think the purple one would be discarded regardless, but I feel like purple to Zam is fine. Slight risk of clog if we don't have the M1 or the rest of the purple suit.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. So I'd take the 3 for 1.
So I have to play immediately because... So I can have M1 or P1 there. And if it's P1, then the P2, P3 is important. So I feel compelled to play immediately so that we can handle Libster's hand.
Okay, so you notice Dan says red here instead of 2 to me. I think that should suggest that your 2 is multi, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because you can... Dan knows that you can follow up with... Well, I guess you could have multi-1, but it's quite unlikely, so...
Why doesn't Dan do blues to Libster? Well, I guess then Libster might discard.
My plan was to avoid duping the M2.
Okay.
Does 3 to Libster work?
Yes, it does. 3 to Libster would just be a self finesse. Well, no,
Yep,
it looks like a blue 3 maybe. So yeah, that doesn't work. Then Libster.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it looks like blue 3, and then Libster potentially has to discard multi-1, which would be atrocious.
So I would save the red 2. But yeah, it doesn't work out as well. In fact, the same thing happens the next turn, and I respect that this could be blue 2, blue 3.
Okay, so reds make sense to Zamiel. So now I know it's either red 2 or red 3 on slot 5. So then I get Dan's ones. Oh, here I don't know what to do. Like, because I could have M1 on slot 2. So I get Dan's ones, and he should know that I wouldn't be duping multi-1. So he should know, aha, both of my ones should not be multi-1. So therefore I can touch Libster's multi-1, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here I think then 1s is better than 3s because this is a non-actionable clue. Like he has to respect that it's a finesse on blue, a self finesse on blue 2. And if it would, then it would be a certain finesse, and Zamiel could discard slot 1.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we got lucky. There was something to do.
Yeah, so blues gets 3 cards, one of which is a dupe. Then Dan tells me 2. So I think this is a certain finesse, right?
No, I read this as a fix. Well, in the game, I knew it was either a fixed clue or a certain finesse. But I have to respect both possibilities. And so I decided to not discard slot 1.
What is it fixing though?
The multi-2 dupe. Of course. Like, it's letting Zamiel know that he has multi-2 in his hand.
Okay. It doesn't fix it outright though.
That's correct. It's kind of a weird fix, but it works because Libster's going to blind play the leftmost one, and then he'll know for sure that the other one is a dupe. Like, the cards are in order, basically. It's less of a good clue if the cards are in the other order, you know?
Yeah.
So I figured it was okay because of that reason. I did consider discarding slot 1. I just thought it was risky. That's what I deduced in the game.
Isn't this only a fix if it's the other way around?
What do you mean?
I'm either saying he could play... I'm saying he can play slot 2. So if it's a fix, it should be M2. Because I don't know I have blue 1.
Right. Yeah, you don't know you have blue 1, so the cards can be in either order, I feel like. So since they're in either order, Libster just has to play leftmost and hope for the best.
Yeah, because this doesn't stand by itself as... I mean, because I saw the blue one on Zam's slot 1, I felt pretty confident that slot 2 was blue 2, slot 3 was M2.
Okay, so that's true. Yeah, so Libster... So it's a good clue for that reason. Unbeknownst to Zamiel, it's a better fixed clue than it really is.
Oh, so what do you think of me playing the purple 3 here? I was kind of hoping you would just blind play slot 3, because it's kind of weird to play a...
Yeah. It is weird. I know it's either purple 4 or purple... or not yet, I just know it's a purple card. Yeah, it's either purple 4 or purple 5. So, I mean, I could have purple 4 slot 1, right? So...
if you haven't unclued, I still don't think I play purple 3 this turn. Because you won't be able to play it immediately.
Yeah. Okay, that's true.
You're breaking up a bit, by the way.
Oh, I am?
Yeah, at least to me. Or maybe my internet's bad or something.
I hear it too.
Crap. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what to do to fix it. So let's just continue on.
Okay, so Zam discards. It's not a very important card. One's finally play. Now I play my M1, my known M1. So this 3 clue is a delayed bluff.
Yeah, so this was a mistake. I didn't mean to do this.
Okay.
It just happened to work out perfectly.
I might be able to figure out that it's a bluff right away because you discard over doing it. If I do have green 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yeah, like I discarded green 4. Well, no, it would be... Well, the multi-4 would be green 2, potentially. And the... Oh, no, I guess I wouldn't get it.
Well, they already have include 1 and 2, so 3 would just be a prompt.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I would have... Yeah, you're right. I would have done it. Yeah, so your 1 can't be green... Well, it could be green 1, and then your 2 is some other 2. Wait, when was this 2 touched? It was touched on 43. So it could be blue 2, yeah. So if your 2 is blue 2 and your 1 is green 1, then it would be a... Yeah, it would be where your purple 4 is.
I don't think it can be blue 2, because the blues clue follow-up to my hand would be some other color.
Oh. Oh, so interesting. So then maybe Dan should play slot 1 immediately because of the historical information.
Yeah, I could have.
Huh. Okay, I thought I made a mistake, but I guess that makes sense. Okay, so Dan plays yellow 1.
Yeah, it actually kind of works no matter what. Unless we're operating under the assumption that we're like promising
Well,
green 1 and 2 to Dan.
well, I thought we were going to lose the game immediately. Because what it looks like to me is that, look, it's blue 2. So, or blue 3, I guess. So I guess that's fine. If it's blue 3, that's fine.
But I have to respect that it could be yellow 3. So I'm not going to play this turn, and Dan is going to fulfill the bluff, and then I'm going to clue in.
Yeah, so all things considered, it's a safer delayed bluff than most delayed bluffs.
Okay, so yellow 1 plays. I play the leftmost 2. Now I know the other one's M2, and I'll discard it later. So now there's this finesse, and
Yes.
at the time this clue is given, I just think that I have M2, M3 as the clued cards.
Yeah.
But then purple 4 plays, and I go back and reevaluate, and the only thing that could have got the purple 4 was this 3's clue, meaning it's either green or red. So M3 must be newest. I discard this turn, well, for obvious reasons, to dedupe, and also give Zam a chance to get the green 1 on Dan's newest. Instead, M2 plays. It's not really...
Yeah, so I knew you would figure out your mistake, or figure out that I made a mistake, or whatever, and from the replay. And I knew that Dan would play purple 4, so this was really fortuitous that this occurred.
Yeah. So Dan plays the 2. I play the M3. Now I get a clue about purple, which means it's got to be P5 or M5. Multi 4 and 5 play.
Oh, so here, my plan is to let Dan discard twice, but I don't know. I wasn't sure what to do.
It's fine. He has 2 good discards. Red 4 is kind of, it's 2 away, so it's not really worth chop moving, I think. Although you could.
Well, if I just clue 1s, it means that he has green 1 and red 1, actually. And because I looked through the replay, and we've been so busy that they could have slid all the way down here.
Yeah. So I think it's fine. It ends up working out pretty well. As Dan says 3.
Yeah, that's good.
I still don't know if my 3 is red or green, so I just take this opportunity to tag this 3, and then Dan knows that this is green 3 once Zam plays. But then you don't play red 1.
Yeah. Because I wanted Dan to discard so that we could get started on the greens. Because I'm kind of nervous about your hand. Because now you just drew this yellow 5. So I kind of want to start moving on that.
I feel like you have to play into this, though, because from your perspective, I mean, it's a bit unlikely, but I could be giving a blue 3 here. So I think you have to play to tell him that this is definitely good to throw away.
Well, he already knew it was good to throw away. Because he did.
Because he gave you blue and yellow 3.
I can play slot 1 of this.
Oh.
If I was paying more attention to what Zam did, I probably would have.
Oh, I see. So yeah, I have to do it to prevent a misplay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Since you don't know the colors of your 3s, this, from Zam's seat, this could be blue or yellow 3. Okay,
Well, actually, looked. I knew It can't be blue 3 because of I would have clued it earlier. So, and it has a negative red clue on it. So therefore it has to be specifically green 3, regardless of what 3s are in my hand.
Yeah. Still, I think you should play. I mean, he's going to discard regardless. So.
Yeah, I should play. I should play red 1 here.
And then if he draws something...
Well, the game was going so well, I also considered you're just trying to save the
it seems
last 3.
A little bit too early for pace saves, especially when this is a 50-50 dupe.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so yellow 3 plays. Green 3 gets discarded, telling me I have green 3. I say red here because, well, I don't know if this is still on since you didn't.
Yeah,
play
it
last
wasn't
turn.
on. I wasn't ever gonna play this card, so that's good that you did that.
Okay, so now the red 1 plays. Green 1 gets discarded. Dan drawing another 1 is kind of fortuitous. It makes things a little safer because I mean I see that you have both have 5s coming up.
Yeah, we would have been in
So-
trouble.
Yeah, especially considering that I have also have a bunch of important cards. So yeah, I say 1 that delays the 5 for a turn. Red 2 plays. Green 1 plays. I just have to discard. Okay,
Yes.
so now you tell me to.
Yeah, because now I know Dan has a safe discard, and then I can get his 5s, and we're good.
Yep. So
Oh, so I could have done something tricky on turn. Instead of on 20, I clue 5s. But if I discard my 4 here, Dan, do you play slot 1?
I don't know.
Okay, well then, I guess cluing
I
5s
could,
is
but I
safer.
might be too scared.
Yeah.
you can also clue purple to me.
Oh, that's much better. Oh, I should have done that. That's smart. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty strong. Because that protects your 5s too. Dan knows he's playing specifically purple 5, which generates a clue, which is also strong. So yeah, that's the best clue, probably. But what I did wasn't too bad because Dan has a known safe. And then, yeah, he has 2 known safe discards, so I can do this sequence. And then we lose multi-1. So we don't lose any critical cards this way, we just lose a little bit of tempo.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then pretty much from 14 onwards, we've won. Like now it's over, right? Because every card is touchable. Except for red. Well, yeah, red 4's in the trash, so every card is touchable. So we can't, like, at 14 it's just GG, I think, right? Unless we get bottom decked by a 4.
Yeah, there are 2 bottom decks.
Yeah, green 4 and red 4 we could get bottom decked. So the rest of it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, 3-player.
Too easy. Well, that was our review. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you guys learned something and you got a sense for what a somewhat high-level Hanabi game is like. And hope you enjoyed. Have fun. Farewell.